the legendary Rev Run and his wife, Justine Simmons. They got a new book, Old School Love and Why It Works. They're in Naperville tonight, appearing at Wentz Concert Hall in Naperville, hosted by Anderson's Bookshop. That's tonight at 7 o'clock. Wentz Concert Hall in Naperville, hosted by Anderson Bookshop. Rev Run and Justine Simmons. Rev and Justine, thanks so much for joining us. A real treat. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
So you're talking to two guys. One guy is single. That's me. The other guy's wife is very unhappily married.
It's all right. She's hanging in there, Rev.
So
Tell her hang on.
So give us your advice and counsel on a lasting marriage, a lasting love, old school love.
Well, a lasting marriage is really about give and take. You can't just be the taker. You have to be the giver and the taker. So it has to be two to tango, and then there's a principle that I always talk about. Listen to the whispers so you don't have to hear the screams. And that means, if she's starting to tell you she doesn't like something, don't let it get to a point where she's now screaming at you that she doesn't like what you're doing. And also there's another principle that I love to talk about, and that is communication. If you're not communicating with your partner, because they say, it's not so much, like, oh, I'm in love with you, I look in your eyes. It's not looking in the eyes, it's looking in the same direction that keeps a marriage. You want to be on the same page as your mate. Because if you're not on the same page, the Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? So, it's not about looking in each other's eyes so much, it's about looking in the same direction.
So when you see red flags, if you're single and you're looking, that's
not your partner. If you got the one that, if she's irking you, getting under your skin, if you're dating somebody that you don't like and you can feel that it's not going to work, don't ignore red flags.
Where were you 25 years ago, Rev? You know what I mean? Now, here's the problem. It's also fear of a divorce attorney that'll keep you in the saddle. But here's what I want to ask you about, because you're like me. We're the same age. You grew up in the 80s, fun.
That's about the only way you're alike.
Irresponsibility, all women loving you. How you hanging in there? How you turning your back on all that?
Well, to tell you the exact truth, I learned that if you want to have a relationship, you've got to let that go. You've got to let go of that behavior when you were younger. The Bible says when you're younger, you do younger things. When you get older, you put those things away.
For the record,
I learned very early on that, listen, if I don't get my life in order and keep my eyes in my head and on my wife, then they'll be all over the place. And if they're all over the place, my marriage is going to be all over the place. And if my marriage is all over the place, it's going to end in divorce. So I had to just, you had to make the decision that this is my one wife. I'm doing one thing with one lady for the rest of my life. So it sounds hard, but it can be done.
And
also,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Also, our foundation
is God.
For us is God. So it's like we fear Him
more than we fear each other.
For the record, I knew that. I just set you up to look good in front of the lady. That's the kind of player I am.
Yeah.
Good job.
So even though you've had this, Rev, even though you've had this storied career, I know in the book you talk about low points as well, and so tell us about both of you getting through low points in the marriage, even with somebody that's otherwise very successful, and so finances isn't so much the issue, but other things are.
We lost a baby within our marriage. She carried full term, and then the baby was lost right away, and it was very painful. But what we learned was that you can adopt. So immediately, she had asked me to adopt early on. I said, no, let's just have our own baby. And I realized you don't have babies. God gives you babies. But I guess, pompously thought I could just have a baby anytime I want because I had so many. And God was kind of shut me down. So I went back to her original idea. Let's just adopt. So the adoption option helped us. It took away her pain, and it took away our pain. And what I found out about adopting is once you get that baby, that adopted person, it's the same thing. You would think you need it to be blood, but you don't need it to be your blood in order to be deeply in love and deeply fulfilled by having a child that is not yours. And I trust me, I didn't think so. And she was saying, I'm like, that's weird. You want me to take a baby from somewhere else? But I'm telling you, you do not know the difference between my Diggy, who came through me, and Miley, who was adopted. I don't know the difference of love.
Well, as somebody who is adopted, I really appreciate that message. I think my parents would. Well, I don't know if my parents would agree with you or not about that. I'll have to ask them. But
Only when you do good.
I think they would. I want to talk about role models. I'm sure you had role models in music. What about role models for relationships?
Yeah, we had role models in our church. The actual bishop of the church had a wonderful marriage for many, many years. They had beautiful kids, and we went to church. That's how I became the Rev. I was going to church 3 days a week, and I was fascinated by their relationship. They had teachings on marriage on Mondays, so we went to these classes, and there was just so much mentorship that it gave us the foundation of how to operate and make our marriage work. So mentorship is important.
Yes, and all this happened after his high point, so to speak, in RunDMC, and that became his low point.
Your high was my low, yeah, because I was, you get gluttonous. Like, I want more hit records. I want more fans screaming. And then all of a sudden, it dawned on me that I was empty because I had it all, as one would think, but I didn't have God in my corner the way I needed it. It was a little off. So that's when I went to church and I started finding God and making him the center of my life, is when things began to turn around and my life shaped up and got more beautiful. And
that's when we got together toward that time. Even though we got together when we were younger,
then we split for
a long time. It's all in the book.
Yeah, I don't want to give it all away. So 12 years later, we got back together, and I was in church, and I brought her with me, and we broke this marriage's foundation was made at church.
And the book is called Old School Love. In a sentence or two, what is old school love? How do you define it?
Old school love is old school principles. Biblical. See, if you look at all the divorce rate and all the stuff that's going on now, you'll see it wasn't as high back in the day. You have to go back to those biblical, those old school, not only just biblical, old school principles that governed your home. I ran into some younger guys like, yeah, whatever, Rev. Today ain't like it is back then, and things are different. You can't operate with your woman like y'all did back then. And I was thinking, dude, that's why your life's upside down, because you think that those principles, have changed, and that they really haven't.
Keep holding hands, like
open the door, car door for her. Hold the umbrella. All the beautiful things that were taught need to be taught again. So we're coming with old school love and why it works. And we can't wait to get out there and sign autographs and talk. We're going to have a nice conversation while we're out there, too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when I come there, I'm not waiting in the line. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm walking right up to the front.
Come right up front.
All right.
There you go.
Call me when you get there. Get there early.
And maybe we could do a Steven Tyler Walk This Way duet.
We'll do Walk This Way.
Any excuse for him to wear the parachute pants, Rev.
Rev Run and Justine Simmons, the book Old School Love and Why It Works, event tonight in Naperville. Wentz Concert Hall in Naperville, hosted by Anderson's Bookshop, 7 p.m. Be there. Rev Run, Justine Simmons, thanks so much.
Come on out.
Thank you so much. Best of luck with the book and the event tonight in Naperville. Appreciate it. And they join us.
Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
You might wonder why Australians always seem so relaxed. Well, it comes down to sleep. And we can sleep like a koala full of gum leaves. So we've invented a solution to your sleep problems. It's called Pronto Sleep. Pronto Sleep is a 2-in-1 solution that helps you fall asleep and stay asleep. Pronto gently opens your nose to focus breathing so you can relax and fall into the land of Nod. And the built-in scent diffuser delivers a blend of 4 pure essential oils all night long for a beaut sleep naturally. Then Pronto replenishes the oils ready for the next night. Clever, eh? And does it work? Well, in trials, 84% of people with trouble sleeping found Pronto helped them fall asleep. 74% found it helped them stay asleep. You'll find Pronto now at select Walgreens, Amazon, or at prontosleep.com. Pronto Sleep is the gift of sleep from Australia.
From Rhinomed, bringing you advanced nasal therapies.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity on AM 560. The Answer. This is Chicago's election station, AM 560. The Answer. WIND Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app and radio.com.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Senate could deliver that verdict as soon as today.
I wouldn't mind.
KT's gonna be a 6.
KT is 6.
Yes.
What about, could we do Rev Run?
Yeah, let me see what I can do. Let me start working